Hey, boys and girls, it's another edition of the Three Man Weave. This one after IU's second loss of the season, first conference loss of the year. This one being 64-59 to Wisconsin. An upset to be sure. This somewhat surprisingly was for sole possession of first place in the Big Ten. I think a lot of people had sort of handed this victory to IU, even despite their history against Wisconsin. They'd lost 10 straight coming in. Now it's 11. And if you ask me, this one basically boiled down to a really, really bad shooting night. I don't want to say it's that simple, but it's pretty close to being that simple. What do you guys think, gentlemen?
Well, when you look at it, like you said, Max, IU shot 20 of 54 from the field, 34 missed shots. Uncharacteristic night in that sense for IU. This team predicates itself on easy baskets, easy transitional baskets, getting to the basket for easy lay-ins. And, it seemed to have that effect early on. Cody Zeller was very dominant there in the first half, 18 points in the first half, a number of easy layups. But that second half was just a completely different story from Wisconsin. They tightened up down low. They did not allow many penetration from whoever it's going to be from the Hoosiers. And just frankly, they made IU one-dimensional, and then they took it away from them.
Yeah, I think in that first half, Zeller's monster performance almost kind of masked, how well Wisconsin really was, pretty much eliminating every aspect of the IU offense other than Zeller, and then in the second half, holding them to just 5 points, they really just kind of, took away that one scoring threat that IU still had, and they were able to just slowly and methodically move, a couple more points ahead every other possession and slowly built a double-digit lead. Now you just can come back.
Talking about eliminating scorers, just to bring up a point with IU, their bench has really struggled in the past two games. Against Minnesota, they could only muster 3 points. Now they only put up 2 points against Wisconsin.
Yep, and that concern. 2 points was early. That was a Jeremy Hollowell shot. I off the top of my head, I want to say it was in the first 5 minutes, and then it was all scores. I mean, Will Sheehy, obviously, being his birthday as of 29 minutes ago, but not a good way to celebrate for him. He had struggled big time for the second straight game.
Second straight game with no points.
No
very,
points.
Very uncharacteristic game for Sheehy.
Very much so.
And, if you just watch it, Coach Crean talked about it a little bit after the game. He's worried about how IU has stopped cutting as much or as hard as they have, just to separate defenses, especially against a zone like this. IU has become a little bit stagnant on offense, and that starts with guys like Sheehy, like Oladipo, even Remy Abel. Not as much cutting there into the lane, and it's hurting the offense for IU. You could say that obviously Minnesota and Wisconsin, two of the better defending teams in the Big Ten, but these past two games haven't been stellar offensive performances, that we're accustomed seeing from IU.
No, but I think the thing to remember is, what it boils down to, besides the poor shooting, but really hand in hand with the poor shooting, is coming to this game we were talking about, it's a battle of two completely different styles, completely different tempos, and Wisconsin won that battle the whole night. This was never an up-and-down game, and that's how IU traditionally wins under Tom Crean. And it never was even close to being like that.
No, and it turned
Go ahead.
Okay, it turned into very quickly, a half-court game where IU is going to have to take a lot of, mid-range jumpers. I think they were only 3 for 12 from three-pointer.
That right there sort of could almost sum it up as simply as that.
Yeah, they weren't hitting from outside guys like Will Sheehy, who, when their mid-range jumper is, going really well, they're almost too hot to handle. And they just really didn't have that part of the game. They were able to get the ball inside to Zeller early with that extra pass and kind of break down the Wisconsin defense a little bit. But that aspect was pretty much taken away in the second half.
I thought one of the worst games out there was actually Jordan Hall's performance tonight. If you look at 2 of 8 shooting, only 4 points. His 4 points actually came on very early on and was completely shut down the rest of the game. Just moments throughout the game, just looked flustered, looked as if he was trying to play too quickly. And a number of turnovers from Halls. Halls finished with 3 turnovers, but he was just never in the flow of the game. Like,
And
we've
his
seen
defense
Holmes.
was not good. That he just was a step behind and just was never able to disrupt anything. I mean, Wisconsin is a big physical team, and they use that to perfection. I mean, they, in a lot of ways, they outmuscled IU, even despite Cody Zeller completely outplaying Jared Berggren. I mean, that's what stands out to me is, I mean, he just dominated Berggren more than anyone ever could have expected coming into this game, and yet it was just no shooting on IU's part. And it's not like there was spectacular shooting, because there was not for Wisconsin, but it was just taking advantage of opportunities, and they set the pace. And IU played Wisconsin's pace, and at times with Zeller, especially in the first half, did it pretty well. I mean, but once Zeller stopped making shots in the second half, I mean, the stat that maybe stands out to me the most is Zeller went 8 for 8 from the field in the first half, started the second half 0 for 6.
Yeah.
He had a dunk with 15 seconds left, and that was his only second half field goal.
Yeah, also other stats that they don't tell the tale of this story because IU wins the rebounding battle, 37-28. They win the points in the paint battle, 30-22, and second chance points, 10-6. And when you're going against Wisconsin, those are key stats. But like we were talking about earlier, it's the bench scoring there. Wisconsin wins the bench scoring 16-2, and in a game that's decided by 5 points, that ultimately was the difference.
And I mean, scoring is shooting, and I think that ties back to really the underlying thing is IU wasn't making shots. That simple. I hate to say it's that simple, but I really think it pretty much is.
As Cody Zeller said after the game, sometimes they just don't fall in basketball. That's just the way it goes. But, you know, IU will be back in action this Sunday against Northwestern in Northwestern.
And I think that is exactly the kind of game they could ask for a bounce back. It's not going to be easy. Northwestern is not a top-tier Big Ten team, but they're not the worst. And it's a road environment, so there's going to be some challenge there. But IU has a couple of days to focus, to fix what went wrong, to practice their shooting a lot. I think they at least probably couldn't ask for a much better game to follow up something like this.
Well,
so
we'll see
silver lining, perhaps.
We'll see if IU could bounce back in the Big Ten. Now falling to 3-1 in conference play and 15-2 overall. So, you know, still in prime position in the Big Ten, but certainly a missed opportunity against Wisconsin tonight. But I think that'll do it for us here at the IDS. You can check us out on IDS's website, idsnews.com. And for anything else Hoosier basketball related, you can check out Hoosier Hype and the IDS website. So
follow us on Twitter. We'll post updates on anything IU basketball related as we find them out.
Certainly will.
For Nathan Brown, Max McCombs, I'm Michael Norman. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks
See
a
ya.
lot.